Hi everyone, welcome back to another one of our videos. I'm joined by Joe Camilleri, and today we're going to talk about OUA football, and this is going to be our season preview. We're going to start with the defending champion. It's the McMaster Marauders. Joe, what do you think?
Well, Mac's led back by head coach Stefan Potasic. They graduated former quarterback Kyle Quinlan, but looking to take over this year is quarterback Marshall Ferguson. He's going to have one of the premier weapons in the nation at his disposal this year. Wide receiver Mike DeCroce. I think he's the best wide receiver in Canada right now. Between him, Matt Sewell coming back on the offensive line, and running back Jimmy Hall. I think they're going to have a good offense. They're going to put up a lot of points. I think the transition will go over well with Ferguson. We talked about off camera when Quinlan got suspended for his bar fight incident. Ferguson came in. I believe he played 5 or 6 games.
I think it was 6 games.
Yeah,
I think he played all 6 of the games.
And he did quite well in those games.
And what are your expectations for McMaster record? Should we expect another undefeated season or 7-1?
Well, I think they're going to be up there 7-1, 8-0. One other guy I'd like to mention too is Aaron Isho. I remember him last year, watching him. That guy is a force on defense. He's going to lead that defense, and they also have one of the best kickers, Tyler Krapinga. I remember a game versus Guelph 2 years ago. Late in the game, they came in and they broke his leg. It was tentatively a late hit. Depends on who you ask, but they ended up breaking his leg. He came back. He returned. Mac is the defending Yates Cup champion. I think they're going to be the team to beat this year. I like them to go at worst 7-1.
Let's head up Highway 6 to the team they faced in last year's Yates Cup final, the Guelph Griffins.
Griffins last year was a Cinderella story for them. They had a lot of close game victories. They beat Queens twice close. They had a close win against Laurier last year. They won a lot of those close games. It'll be interesting to see this year. We're filming this after game one yesterday. They won yesterday 21-7 in a fairly close game. It was actually the closest game of the schedule yesterday. But they're going to be led by quarterback Lindsay. His brother Saxon Lindsay's back this year at wide receiver, Dimitrov. They have Farquharson in the backfield. A couple good recruits, Johnny Augustine, Mason Swift.
Question is, when does Farquharson get healthy?
Well, just reading in the newspaper yesterday, they said with the results they had yesterday, Augustine rushed for over 100 yards yesterday, so that they have the luxury of not rushing Farquharson back. You know, they have a game this week coming up against Windsor, and then I'm not sure if there's a bye before Toronto or Toronto then the bye, so they don't have to rush him back. They also have an experienced offensive line, but the question on this team is going to be, I think, really comes down to defense and special teams.
Yes, they're replacing 4 starters in the secondary, moving last year's starter at corner Matt Myers to strong side linebacker. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out for the Griffins. But we can expect another strong season out of John Rush in the middle.
John Rush is going to lead that defense. He also has help on the defensive line from Cam Walker and Jeff Finley. Look for Ian Hutchison in the secondary to lead. But again, I think it's going to come down to a lot of games. Like I said, they won a lot of close games last year. This year is going to be decided who's going to be the place kicker, and if it's Tropea or if it's going to be Ferraro. And just looking at yesterday's game, I believe they missed 3 field goals inside 25 yards. They missed an extra point. Fortunately, Laurier is not considered one of the premier teams, but they're going to have to fix that when they start playing the good teams like the Windsors, the McMasters, the Queens. So we'll see how they do when they get to that part of their schedule.
All right, let's head across Highway 7 into Waterloo, and we'll start with Laurier behind first-year head coach Michael Falls.
Well, Laurier, we saw yesterday, they're a very good defense. I like to think Guelph has a good offense. Laurier held them for the most part yesterday. I think the thing with Laurier is going to be their offense. They're very young offensively. I'm not sure how many points they're going to be able to put up week in, week out. They're going to have to win games this year, like 13-10. maybe even
They're looking to beat up on the weaker competition.
Yeah.
The Waterloos, the Yorks, the Torontos.
Yeah, they're gonna have a tough time offensively, at least the way it looks right now. So until they figure out and get a little bit more experience offensively, I think it's gonna be a tough season for them.
All right, let's go now to Waterloo, where Joe Pawpaw is in his second season.
Joe Pawpaw, he's back up for his second season. Again, they took some steps last year. They ended Windsor's season last year, I believe. They beat them. They have quarterback Brian Chris. He's back to lead the team this year. He also has back for his final year Nick Anapolsky. They're going to have to count on him with the return game, with the offense. He's going to be the key to their offense. The thing is with the Warriors, do they have depth? These good teams, they'll be able to stop Anapolsky. Or not stop him, but limit him to certain yards. But they're going to be counting on depth when you look at Waterloo.
All right, let's hop on the 401 West and head to Western, where quarterback Will Finch is now the starting man.
Will Finch, he got into a couple games last year after Marshall got hurt. The big thing with Western is they have a good line at Western, so he's going to be protected well. They also have first-year All-Canadian Garrett Sanvito back in the backfield this year running the ball. They have wide receiver Brian Marshall back. Also look for this year George Johnson from Western. Look for a big year out of him. Defensively, Bo Landry. Look for him, the resurrection grad from KW. Pavel Kruba. Look for a good year out of him. And I think the key for Western this year will be Dylan Ainsworth on the defensive line. Look for a big season from him this year.
Production for for Western this year.
Western's going to be up there. It's going to be a 4-horse race. I guess we'll talk about that when we get near the end of the video. I think Western's going to be in the playoffs for sure. I think they're going to be in the Final Four. Mention the Final Four near the end of the video, but Western will be in there at the end, semifinals for sure.
And let's continue down in the 401 West to a team that's looking to be a fringe playoff team behind quarterback Austin Kennedy. That's the Windsor Lancers.
Windsor Lancers led on the field this year. Head coach Pat Sheehan. He brings back quarterback Billy McPhee this year.
Oh, sorry, Windsor, not West.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
Queens.
So Windsor, Joe DeMore in Windsor. The thing about Windsor, it's a football heavy township up there. It's big. You look at the key players we'll talk about from the Lancers. Most, if not all, are all graduates of the Essex Raven program. Quarterback Austin Kennedy threw for 6 touchdowns yesterday. I think they put up 78 points yesterday, which is a record for them. Kennedy is a graduate of Essex. They got running back Mitchell Dender, Nigel Applewhite. Both guys going to be weapons this year. They had an easy game of it yesterday. You look for them next week when they travel to Guelph. Look for them to see how they match up next week against the Griffins. I think we'll get a good taste of how both teams shape up after next week's matchup.
It really will be a good test for Windsor to see how far they are in their process of becoming a contender, because they've been on a consistent improvement the last few years, going from the worst team in the conference to one of the better ones, or one of the teams in the middle in a short period of time.
They're going to be I think they're going to be a fringe team. They could sneak into a fourth spot in the playoffs. I think it's going to depend on this game this weekend versus Guelph.
Okay, now let's go to Queens and Billy McPhee.
Pat Sheehan, like I said a few minutes ago, brings back quarterback Billy McPhee. He has the luxury of one of the best receivers, Giovanni Aprile. He's good. He's a threat. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He had a couple touchdowns yesterday. Also look for this year, first-year running back Jonah Pataki. Look for him. He's a freshman this year. Look for him to have some decent numbers and put up a good first-year freshman total. Defensively, you have to talk about TJ Chase Donowa. He's the leader of that defense.
Not Zach Fitterer.
Zach Fitterer, don't know where he ended up. But
the former OVFL tackles leader for a few seasons.
Yeah, we know.
Never really came to anything when he went to Queens.
We all know how that ended up. But Chase Donowa, first team All-Canadian. Also look for a good kicking game in Queens. Dylan Walmsley. I remember myself coaching against this kid as he grew up as a 13, 14-year-old. The kid was bombing kickoffs to the end zone as a 13-year-old. So look for him to have a good year. Queens is going to be a playoff team for sure. I think the big game on their schedule will be the homecoming game versus Guelph near the end of the season.
If their stadium is opened, it was condemned this summer.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see how that one turns out.
Now let's move across to the Battle of Ottawa, and we'll start with the team bringing back its football program, Carleton.
Carleton's welcome back in the league this year. It's going to be a couple years, I think, before they're competitive. They went out and had a great recruiting class this year, from what I heard. They got a lot of guys out of the London area to come up to Ottawa. They're the only team that didn't play yesterday, so they're starting their season this week coming up. So we don't really have.
They get some extra scouting in for their first game.
Yeah, they're gonna go through their growing pains. You know, they're gonna go through their growing pains. They're not gonna be the best team out of Ottawa. I think the GGs are gonna take that this year. We'll talk about the GGs in a minute, but the Lancers, the Ravens. Give them a couple years, and we'll see how they do after that.
Now the GGs.
GG's, I believe, head coach now by Jamie Barisi. Formerly, I think he's pretty much coached almost every team, some capacity in the CFL. They had a tough start yesterday. They got blown out pretty handily. But Jamie Barisi, I've known to get a lot of information from him. I went to a few coaches clinics myself where he was a presenter. He's a smart guy. Give him a year or so to put his stamp on this team, and the GGs will be back competitive again.
And to round out the OUA preview, we head to Toronto, where we got the Varsity Blues and the York's Lions.
I think both teams took a step back. Both teams got blown out yesterday. I think we're back to where we were with the Metro teams a few years ago, where both teams are near the bottom.
Where both teams consider the matchup between each other their Super Bowl and the only chance they have to win a game all year.
Yeah, pretty much. The Blues have a little bit more talent, I think, than the Lions. I think the Blues are a better team. The Varsity Blues are a better team. When they do play that game, I'll take the Blues. The York Lions, they lost Folds. Folds left that team as a coach last year to go coach with Laurier now, so they're bringing in a new system with him. I believe he was the OC there last year.
That's correct.
So they're going to go through their growing pains again. Hopefully, for the sake of the OUA, these teams pick it up, make the parity among the league back up where it was last year, where Toronto was a good team. But I think both teams, when you look at it near the end of the season, both teams will be on the outside looking in.
And for predictions, are we going with the Guelph, Mac, Western, and Queens top four finish in some order?
I think that's what's going to come down to. I think McMaster is going to win the regular season. I think the Guelph plays McMaster and Queens. I'm not sure what the Queens' other part of the schedule is. But the one thing that I did notice this year, Guelph doesn't play Western, so that could lead into some tiebreakers. Right now, just to be safe, I'll say McMaster wins, and then you have Western, Queens, Guelph in any way, shape, or form. Order 2, 3, and 4. I'll go with Guelph versus McMaster in the Yates Cup, and I'll go with an upset this year. I'll say the Griffins win the Yates Cup.
I'm with you this year. I just don't think that you have Marshall Ferguson can win. I think I'm going to take the experience in Lindley. But now let's talk about how the rest of it's going to finish. 5-6. Are we going Windsor then Ottawa, or Ottawa then Windsor?
I like Windsor. Windsor will come in there next. They're a playoff team.
And then we have our Battle of Waterloo for those Waterloo, Carleton, and Laurier.
I think Laurier will be the highest out of those teams. If they can get their offense going, their defense is really good. They always say defense wins championships, but not in this case. But I think their defense is good enough to beat those teams like Carleton and Waterloo.
And that is our preview of the OUA football season. Thanks for watching.